In the not-too-distant past, traveling by train was the only way to get from city to city. Big, magnificent locomotives with their sleek exteriors ruled the rails. Passenger cars were large and comfortable with a level of service that has now been forgotten. Train stations were architectural marvels with their immense cavernous interiors, and the railways defined us as a nation with strength and agility. We lived the bygone era of traveling by train with the Minerva Scenic Railway. The Minerva Scenic Railway is a living museum of working locomotives, passenger and baggage cars from railroading's storied past. The Minerva Scenic Railway was developed and put into operation in 2004 to preserve and display transportation history through the operation of a demonstration railroad.
We felt that Minerva needed something to bring people into town and to remember Minerva by, so we purchased some trains. And the engines that we bought and the cars and everything we got from everywhere, all around the state and out of state. So we put them all together and decided the name we would be using would be Minerva Scenic Railway.
The Minerva Scenic Railway is what we consider the operating arm of the Steam Railroad Museum, which was founded 20 years ago this year. And up until a couple of years ago, we had been working to preserve and restore the railroad heritage of the state and the United States, and we've accumulated quite an interesting collection of cars here. And a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago, we decided that we might want to run some of this equipment to give folks an example demonstration of what it is to ride a train back in the 50s and earlier.
STEAM is dedicated to the preservation of the railroad history of Ohio and the United States.
The Steam Railroad Museum operates the Minerva Scenic Railway, and that's what we have here operating. It's a passenger excursion just developed to help people remember our past history with the railroads. Everybody wants a heritage. Everybody wants to belong to something. This helps that.
As a senior citizen, it reminds me of the old days when my parents used to take me on Pullman cars between Pittsburgh and Terre Haute and back. So most of our passengers are other senior citizens that are giving their grandchildren their very first train ride.
The museum currently has 3 diesel locomotives, 7 passenger cars including the former Nevada Northern Pullman Palace observation car number 100, 5 cabooses, 2 baggage cars, and a blacksmith car.
Normal equipment that we use are a couple of Alco switchers. They're 1,000 horsepower locomotives. They were built in the early 1950s. And then the cars we have, most of them come from the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad, and we have 1 car from the Central and New Jersey. And these are all roughly built in the mid-1920s and were used as commuter cars back in New Jersey and New York. And these cars have a heritage of being used on various railroads and then to some railroad museums, and finally they came to us.
Most of the passenger equipment acquired by the museum is considered to be restorable to operating condition with the intention of running them on the Minerva Scenic Railway.
All right, this is a Alco S4, the number is 7185. It originally came from the Buffalo Southern Railway. We got it from the Ohio Central. So it's 1,000 horsepower, has a turbo engine in it. So. Let's head north. Roger that. Headed north. 22. Okay, here we go. We got our reverser right here, set to go forward, the way we're going. We got our locomotive brake right here. It just stops it just sets the brakes up on a locomotive. And we got our train brakes right here. Of course, we got our heater and the cutout cock that when this locomotive sets up for trail, we just flip that switch there. We got our lights here, cab lights, and locomotive light out there. And we got our radio right here. I'll carry another one with me.
Well, basically, the brakeman helps out the engineer, keeping a lookout on his side of the locomotive, go across through town, different crossings and that. Make sure it's clear on his side of the locomotive. Before we start our day, we do our initial terminal test. Make sure all the brakes operate on the locomotives and the cars. We have to do that anytime we cut the power. And then throughout the day, we just do our regular brake tests at the station, and once we get up to our interchange in Bayard, basically just help out the engineer.
This is Route 30 right here. I guess it was, they call it McKinley's Crossing. Apparently one of those farms up there, President McKinley used to own. And it was the equivalent of Camp David back then.
Off in that direction goes out to Alliance and then on to Cleveland. Is that right, Jeff?
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Hey, Joe's going up to our other locomotive, the 61, to do our brake test. As you can see here, the pistons are out. That indicates that our brakes are on, they're applied. These clamps here also, the wheels are applied down. That indicates that our brakes are applied. When he releases them, the pistons will go in. He'll give us a 20-pound reduction. It should be enough to set the brakes up. And we'll see the pistons come out, the clamps go down on the wheels, and we'll have him release that. And everything works as it should, and our brake test will be complete.
We're in the E8. It's used to belong to the Pennsylvania Railroad. I think it was built sometime in the 50s. I don't know exactly what year. And got two prime engines, two prime movers, I'm sorry, and both of the 1,000 horsepower. So it's 2,000. This whole engine is 2,000 horsepower. Got our throttle here. It's got the 8 notches. You can see we're in notch 2 right now. We got a reverser right here, set to go forward, of course. Got your light here, stand right here, bell, horn. Engine brake right here. And we got a train brake right here. And we have a dead man's pedal on this locomotive. Back in the days when, back in the old days when they were running this out on the main line, they wanted to make sure that the locomotive engineer was staying awake, or if he fell asleep, they wanted to make sure if he fell asleep or if he died or something. Theoretically, he would have relaxed and his foot would have come off the pedal, and it would have set the train into emergency and stopped the whole train.
So if you lift your foot off that pedal, we're stopping.
It could stop, yeah. It doesn't always work, but I keep it on anyway.
So what about, did a lot of engineers, when they had to like move around, put a brick on there?
Yeah, they'd put bricks or whatever was heavy, they'd put their grips on there, a brick, toolbox, whatever worked.
Minerva Scenic Railway operates a 1-hour round-trip ride through the beautiful eastern foothills of Ohio. Starting from Minerva, the train glides through the city of Minerva with its murals and turn-of-the-century homes and businesses. From there, the scenery changes to gently rolling farm country with verdant forests and clear streams.
Our train ride is approximately 1 hour long from start to stop. We run out with 2 engines, one engine pulling out and the other engine pulling back, approximately about an hour. It goes to a little town called Bayard, Ohio, which is out in the country. Our train ride actually starts in Carroll County, which is where we are right now, goes through Minerva, which is Stark County, and ends up in Columbiana County. So it's 3 counties it goes through.
In the historic granary turned depot, folks can relax, play a game of checkers, or just learn a little something about trains. There are antique items from the area, as well as a snack shop and model train display. The depot also has a gift shop featuring train memorabilia and collectible souvenirs. Throughout the year, the Minerva Scenic Railway holds special events. In July, there is the Ice Cream Social with President and Mrs. William McKinley, the Lincoln Highway Celebration, the Labor Day Cookout, followed by the Lost French Gold Festival. On a warm Saturday evening in August, take the Minerva Scenic Railway out to the country and enjoy a special summer cookout with family and friends. In the fall, the railway is a great place to see the wonderful colors of autumn. October has the special Halloween train, enjoyed by all ages. The cars are decorated in a harvest theme and the staff dresses in costumes to add to the excitement. After Thanksgiving and running just before Christmas, Santa and Mrs. Claus and friends visit the railway. Every child gets the opportunity to visit with Santa, ride the train with hot chocolate and cookies, and receive a gift.
We also encourage people to use the trains, the coaches, the cabooses for parties. We have a lot of children who would like to have birthday parties on the caboose. So we set up cakes, balloons, whatever, clowns, you name it, and we do it. So a lot of people take advantage of it and have birthday parties and just get-togethers on the train.
The railway can also be rented out for special events or large groups.
Our whole facility here is geared for only whatever you want to do. You can have a picnic here, you can have parties, outdoor activities, indoor activities, do everything on the train, whatever you want to do.
Membership in the museum is available and will allow participation in the activities with both the museum and the railway. Join and help with the efforts to help save America's railroading history.
We're always looking for volunteers, and you don't have to have any particular mechanical skills or anything. It's just an interest in working with the railroad in one way or the other. We need people who are car hosts on the train, people who are willing to sell tickets, do anything else around the railroad that needs to be done. We're all volunteers down here, and there's lots of different things to do, and at any skill level we're available to find a job for you.
When the passenger's running, I'm mainly just helping out, cleaning the cars, making sure everybody gets on like these people are doing here. And then also closing doors and making sure everything's lined up. As long as they stay in business, I'll do it.
Well, they can get a hold of us here at the Steam Railroad Museum. They can go to our website. They can, just come on down. We'll put you to use.
The Minerva Scenic Railway is a window on the past, a glorious past that provided the framework that made America great. For more information or to make reservations, call the Minerva Scenic Railway at 330-868-8814.